All right. Hey, everybody. It's time to talk about vinyl again, but this time we're at my place. But I'm fortunate enough to have my uncle here, who is a certified vinyl expert. He knows everything there is to know about vinyl. He's the most knowledgeable vinyl person I know. And we're going to go through, I don't want to say my obscure albums, but just my other albums that were in the other room. If you look through some of my older videos, you'll see I did do a vinyl guide of some of the vinyl records I have, but these are the ones I did not cover because these were in the other room. And so we're going to talk, this is sort of like a bonus feature or an Easter egg or a hidden gem that you've discovered today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and comment. So the first one up here we have is the soundtrack to the hit musical Grease, starring John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. What can you tell us about this one?
Oh man, John was riding high, being on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Now he's on the Grease soundtrack, and this sold like hotcakes too. Of course, Olivia Newton-John, and
Isn't she from Australia?
No, I think so.
Yeah.
And what was the big hit song on?
You're the One That I Want.
Yeah.
Summer Nights.
Right.
Hopelessly Devoted to You. There's a lot in here. Look at Me, I'm Sandra D. Grease Lightning.
Right.
This is 4 albums, so there's a lot of music on here. You definitely get your money's worth. And this one I could definitely recommend. You could find this at a thrift store or at a secondhand used album store.
And this was a continuation of the 1950s era of American Graffiti, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we're gonna move swiftly through these. We don't spend too much time on one of them. This one, of course, Saturday Night Fever.
Yep.
This was this rose to the top of the charts, didn't it? Stayed up there for a while.
Oh yes, it was a tremendous, just a big hit. The song "Night Fever" was the #1 song for I think 1977 on Billboard single chart.
Would you say that this album sort of launched the Bee Gees, or were they already a big deal when this came out?
You don't know your Bee Gee history.
No, I don't. You're the expert.
Okay, in a really thumbnail way, the Bee Gees had several eras of popularity. In the 1960s, they had a slew of hits like I started a joke that started the whole world.
I don't know if I know that one.
Gotta get a message. You gotta hear their 60s hits, Chris.
Okay, put it on right now.
It's fantastic.
Okay. Sorry, folks. We had a little technical difficulty there. Not exactly sure what happened, but we were just starting to talk about the band Bread. So let me hold that up to the audience to see there.
Bread was a very popular soft rock group in the early 70s. They had a stream of hits.
Yep.
And let me see the album. Make It With You, Anything You Want. I'm just reading the hits. Baby, I Want You.
Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you.
If Audrey, which is a great song. Guitar Man, which has one of the best use of guitars in a soft rock song. Aubrey, I meant to say. Diary, and the song Everything I Own, which is David Gates wrote for his father. When you listen to it, you think it's about a man expressing his affection for his girlfriend or wife, but actually it's about his father, where he says, I would give everything, about his father who just recently passed, where he says, I will give everything I own just to be with you one more time. You know, very touching. David Gates, by the way, has been married to the same woman since 1959. He's retired from music right now for a long time, but he owns a cattle ranch. He went into the cattle ranching business, so that's what he does now.
All right. Thank you for the history of Bread. All right. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to kind of skim through these pretty quickly because we have a lot to cover. This is Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And I think it's a self-titled album, right?
Yeah, before Neil Young joined them for the next album.
That's what it is there.
And I'll just call this classic hippie music.
That's it right there.
Okay.
Crosby,
cool.
Stills, and Nash.
Let's move along.
All right, the sound. I'm huge into soundtracks, especially for movies that I love. And this was Sylvester Stallone's directorial debut. The music on here is by Bill Conti. He also composed the soundtrack for The Karate Kid. Very, very awesome music. Some memorable songs on here. Of course, Gonna Fly Now. And the Going the Distance. And if you're a huge fan of Rocky, you put this on in the morning when you go to the gym, or if you can put it in your headphones, if you go for a run, this will inspire you for sure. Love this soundtrack. Love Bill Conti. Sade. My wife loves Sade. What do you know about her? Anything?
Oh yes. I'm a big Sade fan. I own about about 4 of her albums.
You own this one, Diamond Life?
Yes, I do, and along with some follow-up albums. I mean, I'm not like a crazy, but I always enjoy her music.
Right. Probably the biggest hit on here is Smooth Operator. Because she's a smooth operator.
While that's the big hit, the entire album is enjoyable.
Absolutely. All right. Some classic Santana. The name of this album is Santana's Greatest Hits. What can you say about Santana?
Hey, Latin rock band.
Love it. Love Santana.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard his new album, Smooth, isn't that the name of it? That's a great one.
No, that came out years ago.
That his newest one. Santana. Abraxas.
That's not the newest one.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. Abraxas. This is not in very good shape. The album cover is not in real good shape, but there's some really groovy songs on here. Black Magic Woman. Oye Como Va. So, more Santana. What can you tell us about this guy?
Oh, he's okay. I mean, after Simon and Garfunkel, he sort of fell apart and had one hit. No, seriously, no. Paul Simon, he's the poet laureate of popular music.
I met my old lover on the street last night. Still crazy after all these years.
And it had his only #1 record to go to the Billboard #1 Billboard single chart, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, although he did chart a lot of records on the top 10.
Hop on the bus, Gus.
Yeah.
No need to be coy, Roy. I used to love that song when I was a kid. I used to love that. This is Woodstock Part 2. This is rather an obscure one. But you know, they made a lot of money off of some of the greatest hits of Woodstock. They threw it on a double vinyl, and then they decided, hey, you know what? Let's capitalize on that. There's a lot more music, because they were playing music for 3 days straight. So they had enough to come out with a part 2, and I think there might even be a part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just some Joan Baez, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Jefferson Airplane.
I mean, we know who played at Woodstock.
Jimi Hendrix.
Let me just say one thing, okay? Well, what a way to see a concert. 500,000 people with a crappy sound system, third world conditions with not enough potted toilets.
Yep. What can you say about this artist right here?
Richard Pryor ranks way high as far as comedians go, along with George Carlin.
Maybe one of the greatest comedians of all time. Mr. Richard Pryor.
I've seen lists of greatest comedians. And
he's always on them, right? He's always on those lists.
Some of them, he's #1.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of great comedians, this guy's more known for his acting, but he did start off in the stand-up realm. This is Mr. Robin Williams. We were all very sad when we heard of his passing a few years back. He was a comedy genius and a very good actor. But this is some of his early stuff. The dude's mind was just going, spinning. So it's a lot to keep up with. All right. Oh, here we go. Back to music. Willie Nelson, Without a Song. Why don't you give us a little Willie?
You can't go wrong with Willie, any of his albums. That's all I will say.
Waylon and Willie.
Oh, yes.
This has the famous Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them play guitars. This is a great song. Whenever you hear that song, you know that song. It was sung by Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings.
And this has the texture feel to it.
It does.
The rubber.
It does, yeah. Willie and Family live. So is his son on here?
No, but his sister is. His son, he probably didn't have his son yet because that came out in the
78. This came out in 78. His son might not even have been born yet.
Right.
Okay.
So hey, Willie, you got something to do.
That's a great album there. Get that one. Willie and Family. And we have Willie Nelson's City of New Orleans.
That's a very good album. I always liked his version of City of New Orleans.
Yeah. I'm a huge Willie Nelson fan. I've got a lot. Oh, going back to some comedy here, we got Eddie Murphy. And I think this might be some of the comedy from the video that he did back in the early 80s, Delirious.
Yeah.
He did Eddie Murphy Raw in the late 80s, but this was the first big stand-up that he had. Very politically incorrect, very offensive. If you are a snowflake, you would not like this album, but it's classic Eddie Murphy. And
if you're a snowflake, listen to it privately. You'll enjoy it.
Right, right. Here's some more Eddie Murphy. This is just his same type of material, early 80s. Let's see, this came out in 82. So this is great to listen to.
Eddie Murphy kind of went away for a little while, but he's kind of making a comeback.
In acting, right?
Yeah, and he hosted Saturday Night Live recently.
Yeah, I think I saw that. And he had a love child with one of the members of the Spice Girls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good going, Eddie.
Yeah. And there's, of course, Bill Cosby, who likes to invite women back to his room for a late night nightcap, see? That's Bill Cosby, see?
And you know what Eddie Murphy said when he hosted Saturday Night Live, noting that he has 10 kids. He said, "This is really weird. I'm the American dad now, and Bill Cosby's in jail."
Right, right.
know,
it's a shame what happened to him, but
it is. It is.
He was a great comedian, but not a really great person. It's sad to say.
I would say I love Bill Cosby, the comedian, but
yeah, not the person,
not the man.
All right, and then another soundtrack, The Muppet Movie. I am an 80s kid, so I sort of grew up on this. This came out actually in 1979, and I love the Muppets. The original Muppet Movie and the Great Muppet Caper were, I loved them. So this is the soundtrack, all the music from the movie. And here's another one. This is a movie I had never seen until I met my wife, and she told me what a great movie this was, and it really was. It was a great, classic, fun movie with Cher and Nicolas Cage called Moonstruck.
Chick flick.
It is.
Chick flick.
It is, but it's a good movie, and there's a lot of really great music on here. So I found this at a thrift store for like $1.
Let me just butt in real quick and say, now for a guy's movie, guy's version of chick flick, always watch The Good, the Bad, the Ugly by Clint Eastwood.
Or Goodfellas is another good guy.
Goodfellas, yeah, Goodfellas.
This is the Oakridge Boys Christmas. My wife is a huge fan of the Oakridge Boys, and they came out with another Christmas album a few years ago. Christmas Cookies, I think it was called. She loved it. I thought this was it. It wasn't the same one, but there's still some good hits on here. $1 at the thrift store. Come on, you can't go wrong. Soundtrack to Pete's Dragon, a movie I grew up with. A lot of good songs on here by Helen Reddy, Mickey Rooney, and some of the other gang that performed.
If you're wondering whatever happened to Helen Reddy, she's doing fine. She retired from music.
She had a great voice.
She gave all her money to charity and just left enough for her to live comfortably, modestly comfortably the rest of her life.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wings' Greatest Hits. So,
horrible album cover, but good collection of songs.
Yep.
You know.
Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
Band on the Run. Uncle Albert, one of my absolute favorites. Jet. There's a lot of good ones. And then there's a picture of them on the back there with Linda. Linda, who's no longer with us, God rest her soul, turned Paul into a vegetarian.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and they should have hired an art consultant for that album cover.
Another Willie Nelson, Me and Paul. I don't know much about this album. Tell us about this album.
This is a good listen to. I only listened to it once. I own it myself. And of course, it has the song "Me and Paul." I remember I listened to it. I enjoy it, and it's an album I would go back to.
All right. Here we have some Supertramp.
Oh, the classic.
Breakfast in America.
The classic. It was the summer of '79. This was played everywhere, and it lingered into the '80s. And the lady right here for the album cover is actually still alive. She's 95.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
She's 95.
Was she a model, or was she an actual waitress, or what's the story there?
I don't know what her story is, how she got the gig, but she's sort of like famous now, like the whipped cream lady of the Herb Alpert album.
She's on the back
cover.
too.
Yeah.
The biggest hit on here, Take the Long Way Home. Love that song.
The Logical song. It had a number of hits.
Yeah.
It had like 4 singles released.
Speaking of Supertramp Paris.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this album.
It was very, very normal for a group that became that had a big hit album or a couple hit albums for them to do a live album.
Oh, so this was live.
So that was
Paris.
pretty much standard back then. You know, like Kansas.
1979, this came out.
Kansas, they had a couple of hit albums, and hey, the record company would say, "Time to put out a live album."
Yeah, he did a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow where he was a karaoke singer. He played Gwyneth Paltrow's father or something. It's sort of an obscure movie, but if you can find it, Google it, and it's kind of a neat movie, and you can hear that he still has it in his voice. So that is.
They just recently put out a new album,
and it's good. I've heard some of it. Yeah.
The sound is the same, but it's good. And this was a follow-up album that was successful.
Stuck with You.
Jacob's Ladder's on there.
Baby. Yep. Jacob's Ladder. Hip to be Square.
Jacob Ladder he wrote with Bruce Hornsby.
Okay.
Our local guy,
yep.
The Williamsburg guy.
4. Huey Lewis and the News. All right. What is this? All the Carpenters, the singles.
Yes.
Is this sort of like a greatest hits kind of thing?
Yeah,
okay.
Their first greatest hits.
All right, there you go.
We really miss Karen. She was a magnificent singer.
Karen Carpenter, very, very thin, talented woman. All right, hitting up Brett again. We've already kind of talked about him, but Make It With You, Baby I'ma Want You.
Yeah, it's basically the same album, but the other album is a double album, so it contained more deeper tracks.
All right, what do you got to say about these guys?
Oh, a great Saturday Night Live skit that turned into a movie,
yeah.
You know?
Paul Schaefer's on there from David Letterman.
Yeah, and they broke out some of the old guys from Booker T and the MGs, you know?
Yeah, Soul Man, that's a great one they did.
Yeah.
But if you know, this is, I don't think this is the soundtrack to the movie. That one's really good. That's got some of the, was it Scatman is on there? That's a good one there. All right, now who's this guy? I'm not sure I've heard of him. Is he a big deal?
Yeah, you know, he's been around.
This guy here, what's that contraption he has around his neck? Is that a retainer? Did he have crooked teeth or something?
It's a raccoon trap.
This is Bob Dylan, ladies and gentlemen, and you can't go wrong with Bob Dylan's greatest hits.
This is the greatest hits value 2, which is 2 discs, and I've got this album in like mint new condition.
Yeah, no.
I could probably sell it for some money on Discogs. Easy Rider,
the soundtrack to Easy Rider, very good. Steppenwolf, The Byrds, Jimi Hendrix Experience. If 6 was 9, man.
Yeah. No, that's good old late 60s, early 70s biker music.
Look at Jack there.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, so young. This was one of his early performances.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda, Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper.
You know, if James Dean would have lived, he would have been good in that movie.
Yeah, he would have. An old hippie, sure, on a motorcycle.
Or aging hippie. Well, there was no aging hippie. Let's just say somebody who's older who took up the hippie culture.
Right.
Okay.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, Iron Butterfly, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Is that the only song on here? Oh, no. Okay.
And the length of that song is how long you should wash your hands. So.
17 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yeah.
In-a-ga-da-da-vida, baby. Definitely put on your black light and your lava lamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you got them, smoke them.
More Creedence Gold. I guess this is just some greatest hits from Creedence.
Yeah. They had, John Fogerty had a really bad relationship with Fantasy Records. And the Fantasy Records were putting out, any way they could make money. And they were putting out greatest hit collections that John didn't approve of.
Moving on to one of my absolute favorite dudes, Billy Joel.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I'm missing one of the records in here. I have, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. Allentown, that's a great one. Tell Her About It. Uptown Girl. Yeah, so I have side 3 and side 4. What happened to side 1 and side 2? I have no idea. But
this is a great collection. It really is.
Yeah.
And it has 2 songs, I think, that are not on the album that was especially recorded for this album.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not.
You're Only Human, Second Wind, and The Night Still Young. I don't think they're on the album. If I'm wrong, complain to me. Put it in the comment area. You
need to comment on any videos that this man does, or he will get very upset.
Well, I'll plug my page after the video.
All right. And this, you might have heard of this young lady right here, Miss Patsy Cline. Patsy Cline, always.
Let me say a few things about Patsy Cline, okay? Horrible that she died so young. While she's labeled a country artist, she had such a great voice and sophistication to her voice that she appealed to people who did not like country music. She had great crossover appeal, so the people in New York City would like Patsy Cline. She didn't have any hillbilly in her voice. Maybe a little country sensibility, but no hillbilly.
Okay, Patsy Cline. Molly Hatchet. What do you know about them?
Oh, good old Southern rock.
Yeah, sort of like Skinner or the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Molly Hatchet. And what's the name of this album? Oh, Flirting with Disaster.
Flirting with Disaster. Yeah, they would play that song to death on the local FM album-oriented radio stations here.
Good biker bar music, right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Taco Dive. Genesis, Invisible Touch. There you go. Phil Collins?
Yeah, by the time they became a threesome, Phil Collins and don't remember the other 2 guys.
I don't either.
Yeah, they really tightened up their sound. It wasn't meandering progressive rock. It was really tight and for radio. And I like that era of Genesis.
Invisible Touch, Tonight, Land of Confusion, and Into Deep.
Yeah.
Were some of the hits.
Yeah. Good album.
All right, we just got like 4 or 5 more to go here.
Okay.
Willie Nelson, Pretty Paper. As this is all Christmas music right here by Willie Nelson. This is his take, probably one of his earlier takes, 1979, of a Christmas compilation of Christmas hits. Blue Christmas, White Christmas, Winter Wonderland. Another Willie Nelson, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's right, he sings the Judy Garland classic, Over the Rainbow. This one came out in 1981. And there's a few really nice songs on here. Is there anything you want to say about that one?
I'll wait till you get to Stardust.
Ah, Stardust. Willie Nelson. Look at that guy. Great album. Great seller.
Let me say something. Willie started the trend with this album of artists, especially in the pop and rock category, of like Rod Stewart, if Paul McCartney did one, of artists recording albums of the Great American Songbook. Okay, but Willie started it, and I think that's the best one.
Okay, Stardust. And it looks like the rest of them are Willie Nelson albums. We have Partners. You know anything about this one?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay. And I will save that one for last. Phases and Stages. Look at him there. He's very serious in that picture.
Yeah. I noticed that's on the Atlantic label where he's all his career's been on Columbia, or a good chunk, practically all of it. So that'd be kind of interesting to study. That's Willie.
Always on my mind.
This is his big commercial album with that big hit, Always on My Mind, which won Grammys for Best Song of the Year and all that. This album sold like hotcakes. Well, Willie was finally fully accepted by the general American public.
All right.
Okay.
So that's it for the... you have a couple...
One other thing. We were talking at the beginning of Saturday Night Fever and Grease, John Travolta being on soundtrack album. This was another... here, hold that up. That he was on the soundtrack of
who?
Urban Cowboy, the soundtrack.
Who was on the soundtrack?
John Travolta.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the cover there.
Right, but he didn't sing.
Of course, he was in the movie.
Yeah.
No, that was a selection from country and some rock artists. Let me see who's on here. Jimmy Buffett, Charlie Daniels Band, the Eagle, John Fogelberg, Mickey Gelly, Johnny Lee. Some of these songs became hits like Johnny Lee, Looking for Love, Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt, Kenny Rogers, Bob Skaggs, Bob Seger, and Joe Walsh.
Hey, you go ahead and continue to talk. I'm going to go check on the status of our video.
Okay, I'm going to talk about my page.
Go ahead.
Hey everyone, Lawrence again. Oh, this is Lawrence. I have my own YouTube vinyl page. It's called the Vinyl Music Junkie. The Vinyl Music Junkie. And I just started it. I have about 20 videos posted. I don't know what that is. So check that out. I try to keep the page kind of interesting, and I will think of a topic, like one of them is live albums, live concerts versus studio albums, where I express that I think live shows have taken over now, and studio albums are not appreciated like they used to be. So I made some comments about that. Used to be artists would do live shows to promote an album. Now it's live shows to promote or live. I'm all mixed up. Okay, used to be that artists would go on tour to promote an album. Okay, now it's turned the other way around. Artists would release a album to promote a concert, live shows, a tour. Okay, I'm sorry if I mixed that up. You know, my head's kind of floating all around right now. So, you know, I tried to pick a topic like that. I've got a number of other videos too. Boy, I'm running out of things to say. I wish Chris would hurry up. Here he is.
All right, now if you like this video, I'm going to try to figure out a way to put a link, like a little square. Where would it would be? Here.
Yes.
In the lower, you'll see a little box, and it'll be a link to one of his videos, and you can just click right there and go to his video next, and then watch some of his videos on his page. But again, on both of our pages, we'd like you to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification button so you're aware of when we upload new videos.
And I also got a video of all my Barnes & Noble purchases when they had their 50% blowout at the beginning of the year.
Now, my uncle here, he told me he doesn't really want a lot of subscribers to his channel. He just wants to keep it little small, local friendly family, that kind of thing. Me, I want to be the Walmart of YouTube. I want a gazillion subscribers. So you subscribe and tell all your friends to subscribe, and I want to be the next Pootie Tang or Pootie Pie or whatever his name is.
I want to be a small mom and pop operation.
That's right.
And I want people who will respond to my videos. They don't have to write a book, just a couple of sentences.
He does like comments.
Yes.
Good, bad, constructive criticism. Hey, how you doing? Thumbs up, good job, bad job, anything.
Yeah.
He wants to be Central's. I want to be Walgreens.
Central's was a little neighborhood drugstore on our street where we grew up, but it was like a little neighborhood hangout.
Yeah.
So I want to be the neighborhood hangout.
All right. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody.